Have you noticed how people who post about their success constantly seem the most anxious? But the wealthiest people you know barely mention their wins at all. Warren Buffett lives in the same house he bought in 1958. Elon Musk sleeps on a couch at the Tesla factory. Marcus Aurelius ruled the Roman Empire. Never once bragged about it. What do they know about success that you don't? Tori, you know that feeling when you see someone younger than you already successful? That knot in your stomach. That voice saying, I should be further along. How many times this week did you think that? You know that shame when you check your bank account and it's not where you thought it would be by now? Let me ask you something. How many hours did you work last week? 40, 50, 60? And you still feel behind. Here's what's really happening. You're not failing. You're competing in a game that was rigged from the start. The problem isn't your work ethic. It's not your intelligence. It's not even your circumstances. Marcus Aurelius saw this exact pattern 1,850 years ago. Not with Instagram, not with LinkedIn, but with Roman senators. Men who spent every waking hour proving their status, competing for titles, building bigger villas, hosting more extravagant parties. Sound familiar? And what Marcus discovered about these men will explain why you feel the way you do right now. That's what we need to explore first. You were taught that success looks a certain way. By age 25, career started. By age 30, six figures. By age 35, house, car, made it. But here's the invisible prison you're living in. You think you're chasing success. Really, you're chasing approval. Let me show you how deep this goes. Person A posts every win on social media. New client, new car, new anything. Person B builds wealth quietly. No posts, no announcements. After 5 years, person A, $80,000 saved, anxiety through the roof, constantly looking over their shoulder. Person B, $340,000 saved, sleeps 8 hours. Nobody knows. What's the difference? Person A fell for what Marcus Aurelius called living for the audience. Status isn't wealth. It's a tax you pay for approval. Marcus became emperor at 40, most powerful position in the known world. Know what he wrote in his journal? I have often wondered how it is that every man loves himself more than all the rest of men, but yet sets less value on his own opinion of himself than on the opinion of others. Read that again. You love yourself, but you value strangers' opinions more than your own. It's not your fault. You were conditioned by schools that ranked you against classmates, jobs that compared you to coworkers, social media that quantified your worth in likes. You weren't born insecure. You were taught to be. Seneca, the richest man in Rome, said it plainly. Slavery resides under marble and gold. Translation. The richest-looking people are often the most trapped. The mansion is a prison. The sports car is a chain. The fancy title is a leash, because none of it is for them. It's all for the audience. But here's what really matters. This isn't just costing you peace of mind. It's costing you something far more valuable. And most people never calculate the real price. How much longer will you sacrifice your 20s, 30s, 40s, trying to impress people who aren't even watching? Let me ask you something uncomfortable. How many moments with people you love have you missed because you were building your brand? How many hours of sleep have you lost worrying about what strangers think? Here's the cost nobody talks about. You're not building wealth. You're renting survival. Every dollar spent on looking successful is a dollar that can't compound. Do the math. That $60,000 car to look the part could have been $600,000 in 20 years. Instead, worth $18,000, costing you $550 per month. That luxury apartment to impress dates, $1,000 more than you need per month. Could have been $240,000 in 15 years. Instead, zero equity, zero return. But the real cost isn't money, it's time. Marcus Aurelius watched men waste entire lives in what he called the poverty of living for applause. They died wealthy on paper, bankrupt in reality, because they never built anything real. They just performed. You know that exhaustion you feel? That's not from working hard. That's from pretending to be someone you're not 16 hours a day. The Roman senators, Marcus observed, they collapse from the weight of their own image. And this is where everything changes. Because Marcus didn't just diagnose the problem, he found a way out. But before I show you what he discovered, you need to understand why most people never escape this trap, even when they see it clearly. Marcus Aurelius had a practice he did every morning. Not meditation, not affirmations, something far more powerful. He called it view from above. Every single morning, he'd imagine Rome from the clouds, then the empire from the stars, then Earth as a pale blue dot. Why? He wrote, Asia and Europe, corners of the universe. The ocean, a drop of water. Mount Athos, a pebble. Translation: everything you're worried about is invisible from a distance. Your competition doesn't matter. Your comparison doesn't matter. None of it survives perspective. Here's how you do this. The 5-minute perspective practice. Every morning before you check your phone. Minute 1. Imagine your city from a plane. See your apartment, your car. Zoom out until it's invisible. Minute 2. Imagine your country from space. Your entire life is happening in one tiny spot on a rock. Minute 3. Imagine 100 years from now. Everyone competing with you is dead. Every status symbol is dust. Minute 4. Ask yourself, what matters now that will matter then? Not your follower count, not your job title, not your watch. Minute 5. Choose one thing to build today that compounds. Skill, health, relationship, asset. Why this works? When Seneca practiced this, he called it premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. But it's really perspective training. Seneca was worth approximately $1.7 billion in today's money. Know how he practiced this? Once per month, he'd live like a beggar, ate the cheapest food, wore his oldest clothes, slept on the floor. His rich friends thought he was insane. But here's what happened. He who fears poverty will never be rich. He who conquers it can never be poor. By experiencing his worst fear monthly, it lost power over him. He made financial decisions from clarity, not fear. While his peers panicked during market crashes, he bought assets. While they spent fortunes maintaining status, he compounded wealth silently. Warren Buffett does the exact same thing today. Lives in a $31,500 house he bought in 1958. Drives a 2014 Cadillac. Eats McDonald's for breakfast. Net worth $120 billion. He's not cheap, he's perspective trained. Every dollar he doesn't spend on status compounds into billions. Every decision he makes is from sovereignty, not scarcity. Now here's what people won't tell you about this practice. Because when you start doing this, something unexpected happens. When you stop performing for the audience gets angry. They'll call you antisocial for declining networking events, cheap for driving a Honda, unmotivated for not posting every win, weird for living below your means. Let me be clear about something. They'll call you cold. Really, you're just awake. People who are trapped in the game need you to keep playing. Your freedom threatens their prison. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." So here's your permission statement. You don't owe anyone proof that you're successful. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your choices. You don't owe anyone your participation in their status competition. You're not cold for protecting your peace. You're not selfish for choosing sovereignty. You're not boring for building wealth quietly. The same people criticizing you today will ask, how did you do it in 5 years? Present day, why don't you post more? Don't you want a nice car? You're missing out on life 5 years later. How did you save so much? How are you so calm about money? Can you teach me? Your critics are your future students. Epictetus, who went from slave to one of history's greatest philosophers, said, if you want to improve, Be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Translation: the price of freedom is being misunderstood. Are you willing to pay it? Because here's what happens when you do. Your entire identity shifts, not in what you do, but in who you become. And that transformation changes everything. 2 years from now, you'll be the person others come to for advice. Not because you posted more, not because you networked better, not because you hustled harder. Because you built systems while others performed. You compounded wealth while others rented status. You chose sovereignty while others chose approval. Success isn't loud, it's compounding. Marcus Aurelius died at 58. His Meditations, the journal he never intended to publish, has sold over 10 million copies, still influencing people 1,850 years later. The senators he wrote about, the ones obsessed with status, nobody remembers their names. Here's your choice. You can keep performing for an audience that doesn't care, or you can start building for a future that does. Most people will choose neither. They'll just complain. Some will choose performance. They'll burn out in 5 years. Few will choose sovereignty. They'll be free in 5 years. Which one are you? If you're ready to stop performing and start building, write this in the comments. I choose sovereignty over status. This channel is for people who think differently about success, not louder, deeper. Next video. Why the wealthy avoid hard work and what they do instead. Marcus Aurelius figured this out ruling an empire during war and plague. You're implementing it now in .1. One question before you go. Are you ready to be misunderstood?